most people live with quiet fears that shape their choices without even realizing it. Fear of being alone, fear of judgment, fear of failure. These emotions control how we act and what we settle for. But there's one kind of woman who seems untouched by these invisible chains. She walks differently, thinks independently, and doesn't let fear decide her path. She's the Sigma female. The Sigma female doesn't live to impress, compete, or conform. She builds her life around inner peace and purpose rather than outside approval. She doesn't seek permission to be who she is. Instead, she focuses on mastering herself, and that's what makes her fearless. It's not that Sigma females don't feel fear at all. They've simply learnt to face it, understand it, and move through it. While others freeze or seek comfort, she acts. Her power comes from awareness and control. Not denial. She knows that fear is natural, but submission to fear is a choice. In this video, we'll explore 10 things that most people are afraid of, but not the Sigma female. You'll see how her mindset, discipline, and independence allow her to stay calm where others panic. You'll understand why she's comfortable walking alone, why she embraces the unknown, and why she's unshaken by judgment or rejection. Being fearless doesn't mean being reckless. It means being steady when others are unstable. The Sigma female doesn't avoid fear. She studies it, and then she decides it no longer deserves power over her. That's what makes her stand apart from the crowd. Thing number 1, fear of being alone. But she embraces it. Most people can't stand silence. They fill their time with noise, people, and distractions because being alone forces them to face their own thoughts. The Sigma female sees it differently. Solitude isn't something she fears, it's something she values. For her, being alone isn't emptiness, it's clarity. It gives her space to think, to plan, and to rebuild herself. While others depend on constant attention to feel secure, she finds comfort in stillness. She doesn't fear loneliness because she doesn't confuse it with isolation. She understands that solitude is a form of strength, not weakness. People often misunderstand her comfort with being alone. They think she's cold, distant, or disconnected. But she's not avoiding people, she's choosing peace. The Sigma female doesn't need external validation to feel complete. She knows that needing constant company can easily lead to dependence. By being comfortable alone, she stays emotionally free. Her solitude becomes her training ground. It sharpens her focus, strengthens her mind, and helps her stay grounded. She uses that quiet time to set goals, reflect on mistakes, and plan her next move. It's not a place of emptiness. It's where she grows. While most people look for reassurance in others, the Sigma female finds it within herself. That's why she doesn't panic when relationships change or when she's on her own. She understands that independence is the foundation of real confidence. The world may see solitude as a punishment, but for her, it's a reward, a space to recharge and return even stronger. Thing number 2. Fear of change and stepping into the unknown. Change terrifies most people. They cling to routine, comfort, and predictability because the unknown feels unsafe. The Sigma female doesn't live like that. She doesn't fear change. She studies it, adapts to it, and often welcomes it. She understands that growth always comes from discomfort. Life never stays still, and she doesn't try to fight that. Instead, she uses change as an opportunity to evolve. When something shifts, a job, a relationship, a plan, she doesn't fall apart. She observes, adjusts, and keeps moving forward. This ability to handle uncertainty comes from trust in herself. The Sigma female knows that she can survive whatever happens because she's built her stability internally, not externally. While most people fear losing control, she focuses on maintaining composure. That mindset keeps her calm even in chaos. To her, the unknown isn't dangerous, it's full of potential. It's where new experiences, lessons, and opportunities are found. She doesn't need every answer before she acts. She moves first and learns along the way. That willingness to step forward when others hesitate is what gives her an edge. People who fear change often view her as reckless or emotionless. But she simply understands that fear of the unknown keeps people trapped in places they've outgrown. She refuses to live like that. Her courage doesn't come from pretending she's fearless. It comes from knowing she can handle fear and still move. For the Sigma female, change is not the enemy. Stagnation is. She would rather face uncertainty than stay stuck in a safe but unfulfilling routine. That's what separates her from everyone else. She transforms what others fear into the force that pushes her forward. Thing number 3, fear of criticism and judgment. Most people fear being judged. They shape their behavior, opinions, and even dreams around what others might think. The Sigma female doesn't live that way. She has no interest in pleasing the crowd. What matters to her is truth, not approval. From a young age, she learned that people will always have opinions. No matter how good you are, someone will find a reason to disapprove. Instead of wasting energy trying to avoid criticism, she focuses on being authentic. If people talk, they talk. It doesn't change her direction. This doesn't mean she's blind to feedback. She listens, but she filters. Constructive advice is welcome. Empty judgment is ignored. Her self-worth isn't tied to other people's reactions, so their words hold no real power over her. When someone tries to insult or embarrass her, she doesn't argue or defend herself. She responds with calm silence. That confidence unsettles people who expect her to react. The Sigma female knows that arguing for approval only gives others control. She's not interested in proving her worth. She already knows it. Her independence from judgment makes her stand out. In workplaces, friendships, and even family settings, she remains consistent. She doesn't switch personalities depending on who's watching. What you see is who she is, and that authenticity is rare. The reason she's not afraid of criticism is simple. She knows that most people criticize what they don't understand. Instead of taking it personally, she takes it as confirmation that she's living honestly. To her, being disliked for being real is better than being liked for being fake. Thing number 4, fear of failure and looking weak. Failure is one of humanity's biggest fears. People avoid risks, hide their mistakes, and chase perfection to protect their image. The Sigma female doesn't see failure as the end. She sees it as part of the process. She understands that failure is how growth happens. Every mistake teaches her something about herself, about others, or about her path. Instead of running from setbacks, she studies them. While others feel ashamed of their failures, she uses them as tools for improvement. This mindset makes her resilient. When things don't go as planned, she doesn't collapse, she adapts. She doesn't see weakness in trying and falling short. The only true weakness, in her eyes, is refusing to try at all. That's why she takes bold steps while others wait for certainty. People who fear failure live carefully, hoping to avoid embarrassment. The Sigma female lives courageously, knowing that embarrassment fades but regret lasts. She's not afraid to look foolish or inexperienced because she's focused on mastery, not image. Her strength comes from self-trust. She knows that she can rebuild, recover, even when she loses something, a job, a plan, or a relationship, she never loses her belief in her ability to start over. When others see failure as humiliation, she sees it as information. Each challenge teaches her something valuable about what works and what doesn't. That's why she improves faster and achieves more over time. The Sigma female doesn't chase perfection, she chases progress. Failure doesn't scare her because she's not defined by success in the eyes of others. She's defined by her persistence. For her, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. Thing number 5, fear of losing control. Many people cling to the illusion of control. They plan every detail, fear surprises, and panic when life doesn't go as expected. The Sigma female lives differently. She doesn't try to control everything. She focuses on controlling herself. She knows that external control is temporary. People change, plans fail, and life moves in unexpected directions. Instead of fighting that truth, she accepts it. Her real strength comes from self-management. How she reacts, how she thinks, and how she adapts. That's what keeps her calm when others break down. Losing control doesn't scare her because she understands that uncertainty is part of life. She prepares mentally, not obsessively. While others freeze in fear, she adjusts quickly, trusting her ability to handle whatever comes. The Sigma female doesn't depend on predictable circumstances to stay steady. Her peace comes from discipline and self-awareness. Even when life becomes chaotic, she stays grounded because her emotions don't control her. Her mind does. People often confuse her calmness with apathy, but it's not that she doesn't care. It's that she refuses to waste energy on what she can't change. Instead, she uses that energy to influence what she can, her response. This emotional control makes her intimidating to those who rely on drama or manipulation. They can't shake her because she doesn't overreact. She observes, decides, and moves forward with focus. By releasing the need to control everything outside herself, the Sigma female becomes truly powerful. She's flexible but firm, aware but detached. She flows with change instead of fighting it. That's why fear of losing control doesn't rule her, because she already owns the one thing no one can take, herself. Thing number 6, fear of rejection or abandonment. Rejection breaks most people. They change their behavior, silence their opinions, or chase validation just to avoid being unwanted. But the Sigma female isn't built that way. She doesn't fear rejection because she doesn't base her worth on who accepts her. Her sense of value comes from within, not from others' opinions or attention. She knows that not everyone will like her, and she's fine with that. The Sigma female would rather be disliked for being honest than loved for being fake. That confidence makes her immune to emotional manipulation. When someone walks away, she doesn't beg them to stay. She doesn't fight to prove her importance. Instead, she quietly accepts the loss and keeps moving. It's not that she doesn't feel the pain, she just refuses to let it control her. This independence makes her stand out in relationships and friendships. She connects deeply, but never desperately. Her self-worth isn't up for negotiation. That's why she often attracts people who admire her strength, even if they don't fully understand it. The Sigma female sees rejection as redirection. If someone doesn't value her, it's a sign to adjust her path, not question her worth. She knows that rejection clears the space for better opportunities and more authentic connections. To her, abandonment isn't the end. It's a reminder that not everyone is meant to walk beside her. While others fear being left behind, she trusts that solitude will always teach her more than clinging to the wrong company. That's why rejection doesn't scare her. It simply reinforces what she already knows, that she belongs to herself first. Thing number 7, fear of being irrelevant or invisible. In a world obsessed with attention, most people fear being forgotten. They chase visibility through noise, social media, status, popularity, anything to feel seen. The Sigma female doesn't play that game. She doesn't need to be visible to feel valuable. Her sense of importance isn't tied to being noticed. She prefers quiet impact over public recognition. While others crave applause, she focuses on mastery. She doesn't need everyone to see her work. She just needs to know it's done right. That calm confidence makes her unforgettable in a different way. She moves in silence, achieves in silence, and lets results speak. The world might overlook her at first, but it eventually realizes that she's the one holding things together while others seek attention. Her consistency outlasts everyone's noise. Being invisible doesn't threaten her, it empowers her. It allows her to move freely without the pressure of constant judgment. She enjoys privacy because it protects her focus. The Sigma female knows that the strongest moves are made in quiet spaces. People who depend on recognition often don't understand her. They assume she lacks ambition because she doesn't broadcast her progress. But in truth, she's driven by purpose, not attention. Success means freedom to her, not fame. That's why she's not afraid of being irrelevant, because she's never trying to be relevant in the first place. She doesn't need validation to prove her influence. Her value lies in her independence, her ideas, and her integrity, things that don't fade when the spotlight moves away. Thing number 8, fear of being vulnerable or showing weakness. Most people hide their emotions because they fear being judged, rejected, or exploited. The Sigma female doesn't fear vulnerability. She just controls how and when she shows it. She understands that emotions aren't weakness, they're information. She's selective with who gets to see her softer side. She doesn't open up easily because she values trust and emotional safety. But when she does choose to be vulnerable, she's not ashamed of it. She sees strength in honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. Her calm, composed nature comes from balance. She's not cold, she's centered. She feels deeply but doesn't let emotions drive her decisions. That control gives her a quiet strength that others mistake for distance. What separates her from most people is that she doesn't perform vulnerability for sympathy or approval. She processes emotions privately, learns from them, and moves forward. That's why she recovers faster from emotional pain. She doesn't suppress it, she understands it. While others hide behind fake smiles or constant distractions, the Sigma female faces her feelings head-on. She doesn't need to appear strong by pretending to be unaffected. Her power lies in honesty, in knowing her emotions without being ruled by them. People who fear showing weakness often seek external validation to feel whole. She doesn't. Her security comes from emotional self-control. Vulnerability doesn't scare her because she's already faced herself, the hardest person to face. Thing number 9, fear of success and what comes with it. Success might sound like everyone's goal, but many people secretly fear it. They're afraid of higher expectations, responsibility, or losing the comfort of being ordinary. The Sigma female doesn't share that fear. She knows that success isn't something to hide from. It's something to handle with discipline. When she achieves something, she doesn't feel guilty about it or worry about what others might think. She doesn't shrink herself to make others comfortable. Instead, she embraces growth and uses her success as motivation to reach even further. The Sigma female understands that success brings both rewards and pressure. Instead of avoiding that weight, she prepares for it. She knows that every new level of achievement requires a stronger mindset and sharper focus. That's why she stays calm under pressure, while others panic when things get serious. Her confidence doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from awareness. She knows who she is, what she's capable of, and what she can handle. She's not afraid to stand out or take the lead because she doesn't measure herself by comparison. Her competition is always herself. While others fear outgrowing their surroundings or being envied, she sees those reactions as proof she's evolving. The Sigma female refuses to apologize for success. She doesn't chase approval for her achievements. She earns respect through consistent action. Success doesn't scare her because she knows it's not about fame or validation. It's about freedom, the freedom to make her own choice, to live on her terms, and to shape her own future. That's why she doesn't fear the weight of success. She carries it with quiet strength. Thing number 10, fear of being just like everyone else. Most people want to blend in. They crave acceptance, social approval, and a sense of belonging. The Sigma female fears the opposite. She fears losing her individuality by becoming too much like everyone else. Conformity is her true enemy. She values originality and authenticity above comfort. To her, being average or predictable feels suffocating. She would rather face judgment for being different than be praised for fitting in. That's why she often lives and thinks in ways that go against social expectations. The Sigma female isn't afraid of standing alone because she trusts her own vision. She doesn't need a crowd to confirm that she's on the right path. Her identity comes from purpose, not popularity. While others seek the safety of sameness, she seeks the thrill of authenticity. People sometimes mistake this independence for arrogance, but it's really self-respect. She refuses to let society define who she should be, how she should behave, or what she should value. That's why her choices often surprise people. They come from principle, not pressure. She's not rebellious for attention, she's truthful by nature. Being just like everyone else would mean silencing her own instincts, and that's something she'll never do. Her individuality is her compass. It keeps her grounded when the world tries to pull her in different directions. For the Sigma female, true freedom means being herself, even if that self doesn't fit anyone's idea of normal. She doesn't chase uniqueness for the sake of standing out. She simply refuses to betray who she is. The Sigma female lives differently because she thinks differently. The fears that control most people, loneliness, rejection, judgment, or failure, don't define her life. She still feels them, but she doesn't obey them. Instead, she uses those moments to test her strength and sharpen her focus. What makes her fearless isn't the absence of emotion, it's emotional control. She doesn't let fear decide her choices. She makes decisions based on purpose, logic, and intuition. That's why she moves confidently through situations that make others freeze. Each of the 10 fears in this video represents something the Sigma female has faced and mastered. She's not immune to fear, she's trained herself to live above it. She understands that courage isn't about being unafraid, it's about acting with clarity despite fear. The reason she stands apart is simple. She refuses to let fear define her identity. She lets strength, discipline, and authenticity do that instead. The world may not always understand her, but it always respects her. If you recognize yourself in these traits, it means you've already started walking the Sigma path. A path built on quiet power, inner peace, and fearless independence. You don't need to fight fear, you only need to stop feeding it. The Sigma female doesn't chase comfort or control, she chooses freedom. And freedom, to her, is the only life worth living.